going through all my stuff.
Prince Baxter.
1:48 a.m. yelling at us.
Merry Christmas, filthy animals.
Good morning, guys. So today is December the 6th. I don't even know what time it is right now. I am going downstairs to grab my breakfast and then leave because we are running a little bit late this morning. Good morning, baby. Hi, Bubba. So I'm wearing this little sweater thing that I wore last night. I keep doing that. I just grabbed the last thing that I wore the night before and then I put it on. But I only wore it for a little bit, so I'm wearing it again. Bye, Mama. I love you. Thank you.
Come on, VLOGMAS.
Last night was pretty rough because I was up until 1:45 uploading VLOGMAS. The upload time on VLOGMAS Day 3 is 1:48 a.m. So we love that for me. My little nugget.
Prince Baxter.
Hi guys, so it's 4:34 right now. I'm gonna have a little story time for you guys later because you're probably confused on why I haven't vlogged in 5 hours. So I will explain everything later. But right now we're going to a restaurant to meet my grandfather and my grandma to celebrate my grandpa's birthday. And after that, on the way home, my parents are dropping me off at a Young Life thing. We're doing Mr. Christmas Tree, so it's like a male pageant and each grade has like a representative. Claire told me that she was gonna vlog and get this video as much as she can until I got there so I can put it in here. Yeah, so we're gonna go to dinner right now and it's like downtown from where we live, so we have to leave super early because dinner's at 5:30, but it's like a little after 4:30 right now.
You haven't gotten a bite.
Happy birthday, dear Dennis. Tuesday. Go for it. Oh my God. Thought I found a way. Thought I found a way. Never go away. So I guess I gotta stay now.
Baby, I don't know about your boyfriend. Baby, I don't know. Oh, time, holiday Inn. We got the. Couple. It's a wetsuit, counts. Oh, he's turning. He's posing. All right, Griffin, you look great. Your question is, if you could have one superpower, what superpower would you choose and why?
Oh, Robbie. Man, how cool would it be if I could read minds? This cutie in the red. See what she thinks of me.
Wow. All right. Same question to you. If you could buy one Christmas gift to all these judges to take home tonight, what gift would you get them?
Whatever they want, Robbie. I'm a man of the people.
All right, there it is. Give it up for Griffin. Take home tonight, what gift would you get them?
Morgan, Merry Christmas.
Wow. Great singing. All right, this next one. Ooh, you might want to cover your eyes. Those are pretty bright. Griffin wants everyone to know, especially the judges, that he's wireless up here. That's why his lights are already on. Yeah! Oh, wow. And finally, we're going with the senior tree. Ooh. Christmas tree runner-up is, can I get a drum roll out there? Can I get a drum roll? In the senior class. First time ever in Mr. Christmas Tree history, the juniors have won. Wow. Do you believe in miracles?
Okay, so it's story time. So it's 9:25 right now. I got home like honestly like an hour ago. Me and my dad have been looking for cars. Today at school, it was not a very good day. I was running on 4 hours of sleep last night. In my first class for Spanish, we were like grading some papers. I literally almost fell asleep. And then in English, we had to take the second part of our test. It was okay. It was kind of hard, but it wasn't like that bad. Then I go to chemistry. We had a lab today and I was like, okay, sweet. I'm gonna vlog. It's gonna be great. What a fun time, you know? So I definitely should have just filmed on my phone because it's a lot less like obvious, if that makes sense. But I was in class the other day with him. I like had my camera and he like asked me about it. He was like, oh, that's a cool camera. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm vlogging like for VLOGMAS. And he was like, well, what's VLOGMAS? And I was explaining everything and he seemed like he was laughing, like he seemed so chill. And he didn't say anything like about it bothering him that I was filming in class or anything like that. So I was like, okay, sweet, like he doesn't mind. Then today we had our lab. So we were just filming and it was super chill and we were getting everything ready. He like yells at us across the room. He's like, are you guys filming? And I was like, oh yes, sir. Like we're just like documenting like just to get stuff for the lab report. I mean, not completely false, but also not the only reason, but I didn't want to have to like explain it in front of the entire class, so that's what I just said. And he was like, okay, didn't look at us, moved on to something else, just kept working, and I was like, okay, sweet, like he's fine with this. I remember sitting there thinking in my head, I was like, oh, okay, cool, like I'm honestly surprised, like he doesn't mind, this will be great. We kept doing the lab, we were following all the procedures, like we were dressed properly, we were wearing our glasses, and like everything that he tells us to. We just were filming, and he came to help a group that was like kind of behind us. I didn't realize that he was behind us and stuff, and so we were just, you know, filming, talking, but you could like hear his voice in the back. So he came over to us and he was like, were you just filming? And I was like, yes, sir. And he was like, well, I need you to cut anything out that you can either see me or hear me in. And I was like, well, of course, like this is your classroom, like I'll do what you ask. And he was like, okay, thank you. And then he moved on. We just kept working. And then he kept like coming and like kind of just like getting near us and like watching us and like kind of giving me these looks. And I was like, okay, he's not really like wanting to do this anymore. So I turned my camera off. It's laid down and like it's facing like up to the ceiling. So like it's not on, nothing's happening. We got to this part in our lab, we were just like heating something up and we had to let it sit for 5 minutes. Like we couldn't do anything, we were just waiting for it to heat up. And so while we were waiting, I turned on like a little Christmas song. I turned it on really, really quiet, and we were like weren't standing near our like little lab setup thing, really far away from it, and we were just like, kind of like talking and laughing. I guess he thought we were goofing off. He like yelled at us across the room and he was like, why are you goofing off? Like out of nowhere. Like he had seemed so chill the entire day, and then he just started yelling at us and he was like, that's horseplay, like that's not allowed in the lab and all this stuff, like turn that camera off right now, like you're not allowed to be filming this. I was like, yes sir, like the camera's not on, like I've had it turned off for a while. I was like, we didn't mean to like be disruptive, we were just waiting for it to heat up. I'm super embarrassed and my face is red because he's yelling at me in front of my entire class. He proceeds to come over and just yell at us and ask us all these questions like, were we following the rules? And I was like, yes sir, like we were doing everything that we were supposed to. Now that he's over and like near us, he's still yelling so that everyone can hear him. And then he decides that he's gonna see everything that I filmed on my camera. So he goes, take your camera out right now, I want to see what you've been filming. Like I need to see and hear everything. This sounds so like dramatic, but I just think it's ridiculous. So then I like get out my camera, I went to the very first clip and I like played it, and he took it from me and he was like holding it up to his ear, like trying to listen to it, because you can like barely hear anything if you like just play it back on the camera. He like took it from me and he wouldn't give it back to me, and he was like scrolling through all of them, like going through all my stuff. I was trying to get it back from him because like it's my camera and the bell was about to ring and we weren't finished with our lab. And you know, I'm embarrassed and my hands are shaking. And I was also super nervous because earlier in the lab he had sent a girl to the library because she wasn't wearing the right pants. No other chemistry teacher doesn't let you wear leggings in the lab. That's his personal rule. Like I understand that and I'm gonna respect that because he's my teacher. But like my personal opinion is that I think not being allowed to wear leggings, and if you do, getting a 0 on your lab report, I personally think that's ridiculous, and that's my opinion, and like I can say that. We like talked about it on the camera and I was like explaining the whole little situation. I was literally shaking because I was so scared that he was gonna get to that clip and listen to it and then get even more mad at me than he already was. And I kept like trying to stall and like ask questions about the labs. It's like I knew the clip was coming up. Both my lab partners are like trying to get the lab finished because class is about to be over. I keep checking the time and like trying to make sure that he's not gonna get to this clip before the bell rings. And so I just looked at him and I was like, what do you want me to do? He literally ignored me and just kept watching the videos, and I was like, do you want me to delete this? And he was like, yes, delete everything. You're not allowed to use any of this in your video. Then he like walks away and then turns around and comes back and again yells at me in front of everyone and is saying the same things that he's already said. When at the beginning of the lab he asked if we were filming and I said yes, and he said okay. He made it seem like it was fine and then completely went berserk on us. He leaves and comes back 2 more times after that and yells at me and says the exact same thing again. And he says, I want you to delete all of this, and if I see any of this in a video or I hear that you went against my wishes and put this in any sort of video anywhere, I will send you to administration and get you in trouble. And I was like, I already said that I wouldn't and that I was going to delete them. I don't think it's necessary for you to come back 2 more times and tell me the exact same thing. And so I was also super frustrated because like whenever adults or like people like that are older than me or like people like in power kind of are like upset with me, I get like worked up and I feel awful about it. And so Malia and my friend Axie, they both come in to the next class period and we're trying to like finish up our lab because we didn't get it finished because he was yelling at us. And so I was explaining everything that happened and I was so embarrassed and I was so upset that I just started crying. Thank you, Baxter. And I'm also running off of 4 hours of sleep, so I'm even more dramatic than normal. And they're like hugging me, they're like, it's okay, like he's being ridiculous, like he's overreacting. I get that that's his rules in his classroom. I just feel like he shouldn't have yelled at me in front of everyone, or at least just should have told me at the very beginning of the class that I wasn't allowed to film. And so I was so upset and I literally couldn't stop crying. So I didn't go to my next period class. I went and sat in the bathroom because I could not stop crying and I was too embarrassed to go to class. Then after lunch, I have him for study hall too, and I just decided like I was not about to go back into his classroom. So I called my mom. She was about to go to a workout. She was like, text your dad. So I texted my dad and he came and got me from school. I came back and I slept for 4 hours and I felt so much better when I woke up. One of my lab partners, she was like, hey, I mean, at least now you have a story time out of it. And I was like, I mean, true. So that was my story time. I'm sorry if that was so long. I'm sorry if that was also like really dramatic. I did my homework and then probably go to bed. I don't know if I'm gonna edit tonight and I feel bad saying that, but I just really need to go to sleep.
Merry Christmas, filthy